wanted to do this documentary so people wouldn't have to always stare and take pictures, because we don't like when they take pictures, so they just knew who we are.
From the moment they were born, Abby and Brittany Hensel shared a single body, two minds moving in perfect sync, navigating a world that could hardly understand them. Life was always a delicate balance of cooperation and instinct until a moment arrived that no one thought possible. A bold medical decision changed everything. After the surgery, their shared existence transformed, and their future became uncertain. How did this historic separation unfold, and what challenges awaited the twins as they faced life apart? Inside the rare world of dicephalous twins. Abby and Brittany Hensel were born as dicephalous parapagus twins, a condition so rare it has fascinated doctors for decades. Unlike typical identical twins, whose single fertilized egg fully splits into two embryos, theirs only partially divided. The result? Two heads, two brains, and two upper spinal columns, sharing a single torso. From birth, their existence was both a medical puzzle and a testament to human adaptability. Each sister controls one side of their body, Abby the right, Brittany the left, requiring extraordinary coordination. Walking, running, picking up objects, even balancing demands constant teamwork. Movements instinctive for most people had to be learned through collaboration from their earliest months. To outsiders, their motions appear seamless, almost magical, but behind each step is a negotiation between two distinct minds in one body. Their anatomy is a delicate mix of shared and individual systems. Each has a heart supporting her upper body and a stomach to feel hunger independently. From the chest downward, their organs blend. A single liver, intestines, bladder, and reproductive system. Their lungs function in synchronized rhythm, supplying oxygen to both brains. This careful orchestration is a marvel, but it also makes surgical separation nearly impossible. The pelvis presents the greatest challenge. Their spinal cords merge near the lower body, intertwining nerves controlling balance, walking, and essential organs. Dividing these nerves could cause paralysis, organ failure, or death. Separating the liver, a complex organ with intricate blood vessels, adds even greater risk. For decades, surgeons concluded that creating two fully functional bodies was beyond reach. Instead, attention focused on helping the twins thrive together. Over the years, Abby and Brittany learned to crawl, walk, ride bicycles, write, and even drive, mastering coordination few could imagine. Their story became a model for studying rare anatomy and the adaptability of the human nervous system. Advances in medical imaging, robotic tools, and nerve mapping slowly shifted possibilities. For 34 years, experts believed the twins could only survive together. Yet, new technology began to challenge that assumption, hinting at an opportunity once unthinkable: separation. Their lives are not just about anatomy, but about trust, coordination, and resilience. Every gesture, turning, reaching, standing, requires precise timing between two brains. The world marvels at their abilities, but few understand the silent effort behind each day. Then, after decades of living in perfect synchrony, the impossible began to seem possible. The medical world, long convinced that separation was unachievable, started to plan a surgery that would redefine modern medicine. Could Abby and Brittany survive in independent bodies? How would two minds, accustomed to one body, adjust to a new reality? The answers would come in one of the most daring 72 hours in medical history, a procedure testing every assumption about anatomy, risk, and human resilience. 72 hours that shook medicine. When the plan to separate Abby and Brittany became real, the stakes could not have been higher. For decades, medical experts had deemed it impossible. Now, after 34 years of shared life, a team of specialists prepared to attempt what had never been done before. The operation demanded precision, patience, and coordination on a scale rarely seen in modern medicine. Access to the surgical wing was restricted, and only essential personnel were allowed. Every movement, every step, had to be flawless. A large team of surgeons, anesthesiologists, nurses, and organ specialists worked together, each responsible for a specific aspect of the procedure. Neurosurgeons monitored nerve pathways, vascular surgeons managed blood flow, and organ reconstruction teams stood ready to create systems for two fully independent bodies. Robotic instruments allowed movements finer than human hands could achieve, while artificial intelligence helped map the intertwined nerves of the lower spine, highlighting every potential danger. The first hours focused on separating shared blood vessels. Tiny errors could have been fatal. Artificial clamps and temporary conduits controlled circulation, while the surgeons carefully divided veins and arteries. The air in the operating room was tense but methodical, broken only by the sounds of machines monitoring every heartbeat, oxygen level, and nerve signal. Next came the spine, a delicate dance of nerves intertwined near the pelvis. Any misstep could mean permanent paralysis. Surgeons meticulously separated bundles of nerves while monitoring brain and muscle responses continuously. It was here, in this most precarious stage, that the team faced a terrifying moment. Abby's heart briefly stopped. Immediate resuscitation was required, with cardiac specialists acting within seconds to stabilize her, while the team kept Brittany's vitals steady. The room held its collective breath, knowing how fragile their survival truly was. Once the nerves were separated, the focus shifted to organs. Their shared liver, intestines, and reproductive system needed careful reconstruction. Surgeons divided tissues, while ensuring both sisters retained enough function to survive independently. Artificial support materials filled gaps where nature could not provide enough, allowing the bodies to adapt over time. Breathing, circulation, and anesthesia were continuously managed to maintain stability. Finally, the lower body required orthopedic precision. Bones were carefully separated and stabilized, muscles adjusted, and skin grafts prepared for closure. After countless hours, what had once been a single connected body now existed as two distinct patients on separate surgical tables. Vital signs were rechecked, blood flow confirmed, and nerve responses verified. Both sisters were alive, separated for the first time in 34 years. Yet surviving surgery was only the beginning. Two minds, used to sharing one body, now faced the uncharted territory of independence. Could they adjust? Could they learn to trust their bodies alone after decades of perfect coordination? The questions loomed larger than the success of the operation itself. The moment that had captivated the medical world and challenged everything previously believed about conjoined twins was over, but a far greater challenge awaited: life beyond the operating table. How would Abby and Brittany navigate their new reality? The answers lay in the grueling and emotional journey that followed, one that would test not just their bodies, but their hearts and minds as well. Adjusting to life apart. The first weeks after surgery were nothing short of astonishing and terrifying. For 34 years, Abby and Brittany had shared every movement, every balance, every step. Now, suddenly, each had to learn how to control a body independently. Simple actions, sitting up, turning, lifting an arm, required immense effort. Muscles that had relied on perfect coordination with the other twin needed to retrain themselves. Physical therapy became a daily battlefield, with therapists guiding every move, watching closely for fatigue, imbalance, or injury. Emotionally, the adjustment was even more profound. The constant closeness that had defined their entire lives was gone. The space between them created feelings of loss, even grief. Mirrors were used to help them recognize themselves, to reconnect with their own identities. Familiar routines and sounds were recreated to reduce anxiety, but nothing could fully prepare them for the reality of being two separate individuals for the first time. After several weeks, the sisters were allowed to meet. The first touch of hands, the quiet acknowledgement of presence, was a deeply emotional moment. It was the beginning of understanding that, although physically apart, their bond remained unbreakable. Slowly, confidence grew. Steps were taken with braces, arms lifted without strain, and everyday tasks once taken for granted became victories. By the end of the year, they could walk independently, a milestone that symbolized more than just physical recovery. It was the start of living life on their own terms. Yet, with this newfound independence came a new challenge: navigating a world where individuality mattered and where personal choices could no longer always be shared. Their journey had only just begun, and the next chapter would test not just their bodies, but their identities, relationships, and the family dynamics they had always known. Marriage, identity, and growing apart. For 34 years, Abby and Brittany had moved through life as one, their bodies, minds, and decisions intertwined. Every milestone was shared, every achievement celebrated together. Yet adulthood brought new challenges that tested the limits of their bond. In 2021, Abby married Josh Bowling, marking a turning point that forced the sisters, their family, and even the public to confront questions no one had ever faced. Abby's marriage was legally binding, placing her in a role that physically included Brittany, but legally belonged to her alone. The dynamics were delicate. Brittany remained present in daily life, yet the emotional weight of marriage fell primarily on Abby. Parents who had always treated the sisters as one unit now had to acknowledge Abby's independence while continuing to support Brittany equally. Morgan, their younger sister, also grappled with the reality that life stages would no longer align perfectly for all three sisters. For Brittany, this new reality sparked an emotional tug-of-war. Milestones that had once belonged to both now emphasized Abby's individuality, prompting quiet moments of reflection and subtle identity struggles. Therapy became essential, providing space to navigate complex feelings, pride, excitement, and the occasional pang of being left behind. Honest family conversations helped maintain closeness while allowing room for personal growth. The public's fascination only amplified the pressure. Media coverage and social inquiries about how marriage worked with a shared body created tension. The sisters carefully guarded their privacy, choosing to focus on emotional well-being over answering curiosity. Abby adapted to her new role as a wife, while Brittany began exploring her own emerging identity. These small steps toward independence did not weaken their bond. Rather, they highlighted that individuality could exist even in a life once entirely shared. Slowly, Brittany's attention shifted outward. She sought experiences beyond the routines and decisions they had always made together, pursuing personal interests, hobbies, and intellectual pursuits that reflected her own voice. Clothing choices, educational ventures, and new friendships became subtle but powerful ways to assert her individuality. This period marked the dawn of a new chapter. While Abby embraced married life, Brittany was preparing to step into her own world, a journey filled with discovery, personal growth, and the excitement of opportunities uniquely her own. The bond between the sisters remained unbreakable, yet the story was about to reveal how Brittany would claim her independence without leaving the connection behind. Brittany steps into her own. As Abby embraced married life, Brittany found herself standing at a crossroads. For the first time, she could focus on her own passions and explore interests that reflected her individuality. Science, medicine, and the intricacies of the human body fascinated her, sparking involvement with educational programs and awareness campaigns for rare conditions like hers. These experiences gave Brittany a sense of purpose that belonged entirely to her. Travel became part of this journey. Speaking engagements and workshops introduced her to new environments, people, and ideas, widening her world beyond the routines she had shared with Abby. During this period, she met Ryan, a man who shared her curiosity about science and learning. Their connection developed slowly, built on conversations, shared interests, and mutual respect. Ryan treated Brittany as her own person, recognizing her independence while understanding her unique life circumstances. Even small choices became statements of autonomy. Brittany experimented with her clothing style, selecting darker tones and distinctive patterns, a subtle but powerful assertion of self. Shopping, personal projects, and daily decisions became exercises in individuality, helping her voice emerge more clearly. With every choice, she strengthened her confidence, learning to communicate her preferences and assert her independence, all while maintaining harmony with Abby. Despite these changes, their bond remained unbroken. Evenings were filled with reflection and conversation, reinforcing emotional closeness and trust. Brittany's expanding life did not pull her away. It enriched the sisters' connection. Yet just as Brittany began carving out her own identity, a revelation shook the family and the medical community. Brittany was pregnant. The news sent shockwaves, challenging assumptions about what was possible within their shared anatomy. This unexpected chapter would test their bodies, their minds, and their bond in ways no one had anticipated. The unbelievable pregnancy. The announcement of Brittany's pregnancy sent shockwaves through the medical community and the public alike. For decades, it was widely believed that a pregnancy would be nearly impossible for her and Abby, given their shared reproductive system. Yet, in a stunning turn of events, Brittany was about to become a mother, proving that even the most extraordinary human conditions could defy expectations. The news sparked awe, curiosity, and concern all at once. Because their anatomy was so unique, every stage of the pregnancy demanded meticulous attention. Blood flow, organ support, and physical balance had to be carefully monitored. Specialists in maternal health teamed up with doctors who had spent years studying conjoined twins. Routine procedures, like ultrasounds or movement assessments, became intricate exercises in precision. A simple shift in position required careful planning, as every change affected not just Brittany, but Abby as well. Public fascination intensified rapidly. News outlets and social media buzzed with questions, admiration, and disbelief. Many struggled to imagine how a shared body could safely support a pregnancy. Medical professionals approached the case with quiet diligence, maintaining strict privacy while documenting insights that could transform future understanding of conjoined anatomy. Brittany, choosing discretion, focused on her health, trusting the team around her. Abby's unwavering support was a pillar throughout this journey. After 34 years of shared life, the sisters' bond proved stronger than ever. Regular communication, presence at appointments, and emotional encouragement helped Brittany navigate every challenge. Their parents, accustomed to extraordinary circumstances, balanced concern with confidence in medical expertise. The pregnancy also sparked new purpose. Brittany and Abby began developing plans for a foundation dedicated to research, education, and support for families facing rare medical conditions. Their journey became more than personal. It was a mission to provide knowledge, guidance, and hope to others. As months passed, careful monitoring continued. Doctors meticulously tracked organ function, blood circulation, and fetal development. Each milestone revealed not only the resilience of the human body, but the astonishing adaptability of Brittany and Abby's shared system. Yet, the experience raised deeper questions. How could such a complex, intertwined anatomy sustain life in ways previously thought impossible? What secrets did their shared body hold that had baffled doctors for decades? The answers lay in the intricate design that had once made separation a seemingly impossible dream, a mystery that would soon unfold in the next chapter, revealing how their organs work together in ways no one could have imagined. The body that defied science. For over 3 decades, Abby and Brittany Hensel lived in a body that most people could barely comprehend. From the outside, it appeared unusual, but beneath the surface, their anatomy was a marvel of natural engineering. Doctors studied them for years, fascinated by how 2 fully functional brains could coordinate a single shared lower body. Their story was a lesson in resilience, adaptation, and the limits of medical knowledge. As Dicephalus parapagus twins, they had 2 heads, 2 hearts, and 2 spinal columns. But from the chest downward, their organs worked in ways that had once made separation unimaginable. Each twin's heart pumped blood through a shared network of vessels that balanced the needs of both brains. If one heart faltered, the other had to compensate instantly. Their blood flow was a delicate choreography, maintained naturally through years of coordination. They had 2 stomachs, allowing each sister to eat independently, yet both connected to one digestive tract that merged into shared intestines. 1 liver, 1 set of kidneys, 1 bladder, and a single reproductive system completed the lower anatomy. Every organ and vessel had to function perfectly together. Any disruption could threaten both lives. This intricate arrangement was why early medical assessments declared that separation was impossible. Their nervous system was even more remarkable. Abby controlled the right side of their body. Brittany controlled the left. The 2 spinal columns merged toward the pelvis, creating a dense web of nerves that allowed coordinated movement. Walking, grasping, and even turning required constant cooperation, often without conscious thought. From their earliest days, their brains learned to anticipate each other, creating a rhythm of motion almost impossible to teach or replicate. Doctors feared that surgically separating such intertwined structures would risk paralysis, organ failure, or death. The pelvis, with its fused spinal nerves, was a particular challenge. Cutting into it meant potentially destroying the neural pathways that controlled balance, bladder, and bowel functions. Dividing the liver, delicate reproductive organs, and shared intestines added layers of life-threatening complexity. Yet, for 34 years, Abby and Brittany thrived despite these obstacles. They attended school, rode bicycles, drove cars, and pursued careers. Every milestone was a testament to human adaptability. Their shared body did not limit them. It forced them to develop coordination, communication, and patience far beyond most people's experiences. The pregnancy revealed something extraordinary. Their shared system could sustain new life in ways no one had imagined. The miracle of Brittany's pregnancy illuminated the brilliance of their anatomy, showing how every organ, nerve and muscle had evolved to function in perfect harmony. Now, as the sisters navigated this new chapter, the question lingered.